One of my mentors told me, you can use failure as a headwind or a tailwind. And this was something that stuck with me for a very, very long time because failure breeds fear. And a lot of times, fear paralyzes people, and then you just go into that downward spiral. But how can you use that same exact energy to propel you forward, to make you get out of bed in the morning, to make you fight against whatever's holding you back? And it's this old story that, I just love, but, it's a simple parable. It was A and B were having a fight, and they were in this all-out brawl. Both of them are getting tired. Both of them are knocking each other out, and both of them wanted to quit. A decided to quit, but B decided to throw one last punch, and B won. And how can you treat failure that same exact way? Can you find it in you to throw that one last punch? And for me, sometimes treating people good comes into play because I got a phone call from a very old friend named Vincent Herbert. And Vince is a guy I've known since I was a little kid getting in the industry. We were the same age. And Vince was this prolific music producer at like 16 or 17. Whitney Houston, Barbra Streisand, Boyz II Men, you name them, Vince produced for them. And Vince and I had never done business together, but I always took his calls, and I always called him, just to check in on him. And Vince called me, and he said, Troy, well, he called me Carter. And he said, Carter, I saw this girl on MySpace. You guys are probably too young to know what MySpace was. But I'm flying her to LA tomorrow. I want to bring her by the office, but I think you're going to like her. Make sure you're there. And so Vince is like really, really big guy. And with this very soft voice. So the next day I see him coming into the office, and he's, walking in, and behind him appears this girl, and she walks out. She played some music, song after song, hit after hit. She looked nothing like this, by the way. She had these big black sunglasses on, fishnet stockings, no pants. Looked like she landed from another planet. But she was wise, and she knew exactly what she wanted. And she said, I want to be the biggest star in the world. And I said, Vince, make sure you bring this girl back. I love her. Make sure you bring her back. And a few months later, she came back to LA. I took her to the fanciest restaurant I could find, Spaghetti Warehouse. I wasn't balling at that time. And we went to Spaghetti Warehouse, and we sat down for 3 hours, and we talked about life, about career. And what was interesting, she had gotten signed to Def Jam Records, and Def Jam dropped her 4 months after they signed her. And this was her dream. She worked all of her life to become this superstar, and 4 months later, she gets dropped from Def Jam Records. She went to West Virginia. She's sleeping on her grandmother's couch, and her grandmother said, get off the couch. If you're going to do it, go do it. Her dad said, you got 1 year, or you need to go back to school, but you need to figure this out. So between what was happening in my life, what was happening in her life, we connected in a way that that you don't usually connect with artists. We connected right away. And we went out on this journey. And she started writing songs for other people. She wrote songs, for Pussycat Dolls. She wrote songs for Britney Spears, for this person, for that person. But we couldn't get her career started to save our lives. And it took 1 year for her first song to get played on the radio. We shopped this thing everywhere. Nobody would play it. They would say it was too European, it was too gay, it was too this, it was too that. And then finally, it was a radio station in Toronto that took Toronto. I love you guys. Thank you. Did you request it? They played the record. And then, of course, I hit up the station in Buffalo and said, hey, you know how hot we are in Canada right now? And Buffalo started playing the record. And then other stations started playing the record. And then within a year, Just Dance went to become a #1 record around the world. But it didn't. But radio didn't help. And this was Lady Gaga after.